What's going on? Appreciate you for tuning in to another edition of Chomping at the Bit. So, look, Thursday night, short week, Patriots at home after the game in Tampa Bay. Go back home for some home cooking against the Jets, hated rival Jets. They take care of business. They get the win, 27-14. Now 9-2. Currently, number one seed in the AFC. Best record in the NFL, actually. Obviously, with the games on Sunday and Monday, I believe will factor in, but we'll see if they are sitting alone atop the AFC by Tuesday. But looking at the game, was it a flashy win for New England? Not really. It's a game that you kind of watched and thought they probably could have won by more. But it was one of those business like games where do what you need to do, win comfortably, you get out. I guess the only potential blemish would be the injury to Milton Williams, which Mike Vrabel said after the game. If it was a playoff game or something with a little bit more importance, Milton probably would have gone back in and played. Now, there is a report out there that Milton Williams could miss multiple weeks. Not the best thing you wanted to hear, but maybe that's something where they're looking to maybe preserve him for a couple of weeks. That way he's available for the stretch run. Because let's say multiple weeks is just 2 weeks. You have the Bengals and the Giants. If they want him to sit those two games to get ready for the rematch against the Bills, then that Ravens game, which are the two toughest games, which are back to back, left on the schedule, I don't hate it. So if that's the plan, fine. I'm hoping it's not multiple weeks because it's something a little bit more pressing of an issue in terms of the injury being a little bit more severe than maybe we're being led on. I'm assuming it's the former, and that they're probably going to look at these two games coming up as games you might be able to sit him and still win because you'd rather have him healthier for Buffalo and Baltimore. But outside of that, Drake May, once again, made some throws. There were a couple that, if he connected on, his numbers would have looked a lot better. Namely, the deep throw to Mac Hollins, which was right on the number, but you have to give Brandon Stevens credit for getting his hand in there in the very last second to knock it loose. Otherwise, it's another deep throw to Mac Hollins. That connection obviously getting better week in and week out as Mac Hollins is used a little bit more and more. But still, 25 for 34, 281, back on the streak of games over 100 rating. We know last week he was under, but he was at 107.6, 83.3 QBR. No interceptions. Had one that could have been intercepted on a deep throw to Kyle Williams, but the Jets dropped it. But so yeah, it was a good day for him. Travion Henderson, how would he back up the game against Tampa Bay? Only 62 yards rushing. He did have two touchdowns, and I felt like it was a more balanced game for him. Where the Tampa Bay game, everybody's looking at just the two long runs and everything outside of that, not a lot of production. I thought he was more consistent throughout the game in this one. Still a good game from him because he did have 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing, and then 1 in the passing game when they were down in the red zone. Drake May stepping up in the pocket. He could have ran, but he was looking for Diggs the whole time. Diggs was covered up. He kind of pump faked and then hit Travion Henderson in the back of the end zone. So if you were a Travion Henderson fantasy owner, like myself, great day from Travion. Steph Diggs, over 100 yards receiving again on the season. And you're kind of seeing some tendencies with Drake May in that in the like short, intermediate area, if it's a play that he has to have, he's looking Diggs' way first. We already know that deep down the field, Kayshawn Booty, and I guess a little Mac Hollins. He's looking for him as well. The next aspect of this offense, though, Kyle Williams. Because I think now we're getting to that point with Kyle Williams where we were with Travion Henderson early in the season, where you're always wanting more and more from him and wondering why he's not getting those opportunities. I think the 74-yard touchdown, I believe, against Tampa Bay is kind of the starting point now where we want more from Kyle Williams. He had some opportunities in this game, but you can see that connection between he and Drake May not on the level of the other wide receivers yet. So once again, I said this all last season when some people were ready to give up on Booty and Pop Douglas. Let's give it time with Kyle Williams. Because obviously from the Tampa Bay game, you see the potential there. Now he has to get comfortable actually running the offense over the course of a full game, not just a play out of the blue here or there. So I think the potential is there for that. And hopefully they get that connection and he kind of understands the scheme, I guess, a little better by the end of the season, because he could be a big weapon for a playoff run. I'm just saying. I guess defensively, I think once again, Spillane, strong game from him. Look, like the signing before the season, and now with each passing game, loving it even more. Spillane, just great. He's everywhere. He's good for like a pass defense or two a game. And yeah, the defense is they're doing their thing. Now, this game they did have the opening drive touchdown given up against the Jets, which that's just a thing at this point. But they have this way of kind of locking down after that. So I don't think it's that big of a worry for me. I've heard like in the Boston media, a lot of people are harping on that like it's a big deal. I guess we'll see. To me, it's not a big deal until it becomes a big deal, I guess. Like if they go down to, Buffalo or Baltimore 7-0 and end up like losing in a low scoring game and you look back at that as the reason as contributing to a loss. Yeah, that happens multiple times, sure. But a team that's on an 8-game winning streak, it's not really something I'm caring about right now. So like I said, 9-2, number 1 seed in the AFC. Now the conversations are not necessarily winning the AFC East. It's more about can they actually gain that number 1 seed in the AFC and have the playoffs go through Gillette Stadium January. I mean, I don't know. The rest of their schedule is not daunting. Like I said, Buffalo and Baltimore are the toughest games, but this group is still young enough that I don't necessarily look at the other games on the schedule and go, oh, obvious win and stuff like that. So let's see how it plays out. They're still ahead of schedule in the multi-year, rebuild or whatever you want to call it. And they're looking good. It's great to be a Patriots fan once again. The new uniforms, love them. I like them when I saw them at first. Love them in game action. Look, between that one, the old school Pat Patriot, the kind of like color rush blue with like the red that they wear a lot. Between those three, loving them. Loving the options. I guess what else on this game? Okay, so I guess quickly on the Jets. Look, Justin Fields is a quarterback. I try to defend him as much as I can because when he played at Ohio State, I was a big fan. I thought he was going to come in the league and be maybe have like Jaden Daniels kind of success. That's what I thought Justin Fields could be. But he was in Chicago, an organization that historically isn't really good with quarterbacks. So you wanted to give him a pass. Maybe unfortunately he goes to the Jets, another organization really bad with developing quarterbacks. It just doesn't look like anything has changed with him. There are still throws he misses. There are still times where he's holding the ball too long. There are times where it's like he likes to take off and he can, but he'll kind of hesitate, which then shuts that opportunity off for him. You know, he had the late fumble in the game, which Anthony Jennings recovered, which I feel like for all intents and purposes kind of ended the game. But I feel like once the Patriots got a lead in this one, that Jets offense, it doesn't scare you enough to think that they are going to overcome any type of deficit. And now the questions about Aaron Glenn's job, I feel like are valid, almost, but they were a bad team last year. It's his first year. They're still a bad team. So is it necessarily the coach or the talent or the front office? I don't know. But uh, Jets look like a mess. But they're the Patriots' hated rivals. So the longer they stay down, you know, I'm not losing sleep over it. Now, coming out of the game, seeing a lot of conversations surrounding this team. And one observation I've kind of found out, or I guess I'm observing, you know how the media kind of hated the Belichick Brady version of the Patriots? I feel like the Vrabel May version is a complete 180 where the media kind of loves them. I don't know how I feel about that. A lot of people are like, the Patriots are back, but are they really back? In order to be really back, doesn't the media have to kind of like have this jealousy and hatred towards them? Now, not to say they all are like that. I mean, I was listening to Bill Cowher, you know, longtime Steelers coach who had a lot of postseason ended at the hands of Tom Brady and Belichick. He was talking about the Patriots don't have explosive plays, and I'm just like, they're good for like a couple of game now. Like, how do they not have explosive plays? But that's probably that Steeler blood running in them. Then the other day, uh, I think Cam Newton called the Patriots fool's gold. Okay, I guess, but it's kind of hard to be fool's gold at 9-2. Now he might be talking about the schedule, which I talked about in a couple of videos ago. The schedule is what it is. Like there's other teams who have weak schedules that aren't 9-2. So what's the difference? I think the Patriots are a good team. On Passionate Precision, last night we did discuss top 5 teams in the league. You know, my co-hosts Key and Jory were like, "Hey, Patriots are the best team in the league." Even I, as a Patriots fan, was a little surprised by that because in my mind they had the best record, but I don't know. Can we put them as the best team in the league? I don't know. I think it's a good question for you all. Let me know. Do you think the Patriots are the best team in the league? Because they're still young. And I think in the back of my mind, that's what's keeping me from putting them up there, even though on the field they're showing that they are pretty well rounded. But I don't know. I'll probably, maybe that's for another video to have that conversation with you all. But another thing from the media is this whole notion now, who is more important to this Patriots success? And they're basically going Mayor Vrabel. I've heard this from a few different shows, a few different panels, and I've come to the same conclusion. Why are we doing this again? They did this basically over the second half of the Belichick Brady dynasty. Not saying Vrabel and May have a dynasty, but I'm just saying that previous version of the Patriots, They love talking Belichick or Brady, Belichick or Brady. I said it then that they're both have a hand in the success. Like if you, I guess, if you want to lean towards the player being a little bit more because he's actually on the field, fine. But they kind of made it seem like it had to be one or the other. So now it's like they're trying to get ahead of that before we get deep into whatever plays out between Vrabel and May and are trying to establish that conversation now. This answer may not surprise you or may. They both have a hand in it. And I'll do this even more. I'm throwing Josh McDaniels into that as well. The three of them have been pivotal to the success of this team this season. Vrabel has come in off of the Gerard Mayo year, has established a culture, has obviously gotten the players to play for him. You hear any of them talk, they love Vrabel. You see after the games, he sits outside the locker room, waits for each one of them, come down the tunnel, he greets them, hugs them, all that. That's culture building. We've seen it on the field. The team is more aggressive. They go for it on fourth down a lot and everything like that. That's got to be a proponent of Mike Vrabel kind of instilling that in the coaching staff and the players that, look, opportunities are going to be there. We're going to take them. So that's Vrabel. May obviously gets credit because he's at the head of this offense. We've seen the growth in his game from his rookie year last year to now his sophomore season, where he is now a legitimate MVP candidate. So that's obviously work he's put in, along with coaching Josh McDaniels. We saw May with Alex Van Pelt last season. Amidst all the losing, there were glimpses of a special quarterback in that season. Now with Josh McDaniels, who, head coach, not great, offensive coordinator, pretty good. This offense looks like one that they may not be great at running the ball, but when they need to, they'll run it. Well, I guess I can't really say that. Like they're at least committed to getting the run game going. So you still have to think about it. And now with Henderson and his breakaway speed, we might see the running game look a little bit better to close out the year. The skill position players were seen as subpar before the season, but they're 9-2, and May's putting up great numbers with this subpar group. So that scheme, getting these guys into positions where they can succeed, that's also May hitting the targets when they're open. So I think between the three of them, and you can throw more people into this, but if we're just looking at coach and player, they all have a hand in it. And we need to stop having this conversation. I don't know why the media loves to do this with the Patriots, but please stop. Now, you let me know who. Look, if you want to answer it one way or the other, let me know. May or Vrabel, who you're giving the credit to for this turnaround. Because once again, 9-2, more wins than the last 2 years when they were both 4-13 years and frustrating to watch. This is fun. This is a lot of fun. But that's all I got for you. Appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you join the Discord if you want more from me. Like when I'm watching games, whatever, you want to talk, hit me up on Discord. Link should be in the description. Yeah. Hopefully I see some of you joining that and we can have some fun in there. But appreciate you for tuning in. Really do. Make sure you check out the other content on the channel. Also to my audio listeners, appreciate you as well. If you, I guess, listening to it, leave a review. Greatly appreciate it. Let me know, how you feel about the content. So go ahead, enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend. Like I said, join the Discord. I'll be in there talking during the NFL games on what I'm watching. It's a weekend without a Patriots game, so I can kind of watch some other teams and kind of gauge the competition, I guess. Seahawks Rams, even though it's an NFC game, I will be tuning into that one for sure. But thanks again. Appreciate you. Be safe. God bless. Till I see you next time. All right. Bye.